Hello, and welcome to another figure-outable episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts. I've lost over 100 pounds and kept it off for about 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach.
Whoa.
And with me today is...
Donald Weigel, and I have lost about 100 pounds. I've kept it off for around 7 years, coming up on it. And we're here to talk about it.
We are.
And apparently figure-outable is a word.
Figure-outable is a word. I love that language progresses. Don't you, Donald? I love all the new slangs.
Frankly, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I try not to be old man curmudgeonly, but I think that there are, like, I don't understand why we have grammar rules that were taught in school if we're just going to find out. Like, I basically have discovered in my, dotage here, that they're all malleable, that none of them actually matter, and that they all change. And we just decide, like, after a while, like, oh, that grammar rule doesn't matter anymore. We're just going to, like, do what we want now.
But I think every generation says something like that. Like, we don't say forthwith now, right? Like, I will post haste.
The way we talk, sure. But, like, they're just, the word, the dictionary has changed the definition of the word literally to mean something that it never meant before. And I don't like it.
But I think there are things that have, like, in our generation or in this world that, like, things that used to mean something in Victorian times does not mean what it means now.
Right. And I
like
love,
yoked.
Yoked. I love new, cool, interesting expressions. I love saying that a song slaps.
I'm still I definitely feel like I am too old. I'm on the softer side of Sears right now, and I'm not really in the slap.
I love calling songs bangers.
Bangers I'm kind of part of now. I'll admit that. Yeah, but no, I feel uncomfortable using slang that the kids use, but I don't remember, like, did your parents say that things were rad back in the day?
No.
Or did they just, like, shake their heads
I
and
don't
say
think my
no?
parents have ever said rad.
No. It, but, like, it feels weird being the age that I am trying, like, when we say things to our teen and try to sound cool, it doesn't go
I know
well.
when I say it that I'm cringe.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I do.
Yeah, no, I lean into the cringe. I do it to be embarrassing on purpose, but I enjoy that.
Are we there now?
Oh, I am.
We're definitely there. Well, speaking of things, figure-outable is a word now. I like the malleability of words. I see it as Play-Doh. But do you know how I know figure-outable is an actual word that is used?
No, pray tell.
Pray tell.
Forsooth, tell me how you do.
Because there is an actual book called Everything is Figure-Outable.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and if it has been published, it is a true thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that things that are published are true.
Right.
100%.
Everything that's published is spot on. Exactly.
Without question. But there is an authoress named... See, we don't
a she author?
A she author named Marie Forleo.
Yeah.
Who is a whiz in the world of growth mindset. And if I know,
do people call people whizzes now?
Whiz,
also,
I don't know.
Okay, I'll stop doing this the whole episode.
But Marie Forleo wrote a book called Everything is Figure-Outable, and about, I think, 7 years ago, before I lost weight, I can't remember how long I lost it. I thought to myself, I didn't know that I was thinking this, but I thought, nothing is figure-outable. Everything is a problem.
I sure did.
Everything is working against me.
Oh, boy,
I've learned, I know everything there is to know, and what I know is that nothing is going to go my way. And I know that sounds like a bummer, but that's actually what I thought in 2015.
Do you know why that sounds like a bummer?
Because it is.
It's a bummer.
Because it's a bummer.
Yeah.
But in 2015, I was like, I'm too old. It's too late. Everything, is out of my control, and it felt really terrible. Like, I know, I'm joking about it now, but it felt really like I felt very desperate about everything.
No, I know, me too.
And when I finally realized, I know I've talked about it before, that I maybe was not the best judge of the world in my own brain, and I sought other people, other experts, other people in the world, podcasts, books, etc., to sort of help me change my mindset. And one of the books that I read a few years ago was Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. And in it, she gives lots of amazing tips, but one in particular that we've decided to talk about today is perfectionism.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be perfect.
Yeah, you have to strive for 100% perfectionism or it's not worth doing.
Exactly. And that's actually what I think kept me back.
Oh, no, it's actually the opposite of that.
In my life for 40 plus years was that it was either I'm holding myself to super high ideals. Everyone else has it easier than I do. I'll be embarrassed if I'm not perfect, so I might as well not do it at all. If I can't be perfect.
And I think that you run into this a lot in the world, and not necessarily health and fitness related, but people will oftentimes assert that if they can't have the perfect solution, that they don't want any solution at all.
Yeah, well, and it definitely was an all or nothing kind of view, and a very like victim based, like, oh, well, everybody else can do it because their lives are perfect. And as soon as school is over, when we close on the house, when the work project is over, when whatever, it's like this mirage of after all of this happens, then it will be the perfect time. So It's either like I've got to do it perfectly, or the circumstances have to be perfect, or I can't make any progress. And we are going to dispel that today. We are currently dispelling it right. It's happening right now in front of your ears.
Yeah. In this episode in particular, we're going to talk a lot about the difference between thinking in terms of perfectionism versus thinking in terms of making progress, and trying to point out how perfectionism is the enemy of progress, and it is so much better to make some progress, even if it's not perfect, than to make no progress at all or to slide backwards.
Right. And I was actually on a Tiny Habits coaching call a few weeks ago with BJ Fogg, author of Tiny Habits.
Whoa, name dropper.
One of the other coaches, we were talking about perfectionism, and he talked about how he actually thinks of perfectionism as a defense mechanism and a quality rather than an identity. Because when we talk about like, I am a perfectionist, it is like, it is in me. It is unchangeable. It is like, I have 10 fingers. Like, it is not who you are. It is just a tool that you use to get through a stressful situation. It's a coping mechanism. And when we disassociate it from ourselves and say, I have perfectionist tendencies, it gives us a little bit of space to see that it is not something that is just in our DNA.
No, I really like that reframing.
I did too. And so I wanted to first, we're going to go through a couple of things, but first I'm going to show you some signs of perfectionism.
Yeah, see if any of this sounds like you.
Yep. And then some kind of things that happen as a result of perfectionist tendencies. So as I was writing these, I was feeling cringe. I was embodying the cringe. So we're gonna go through these right now. See where you cringe, because that might be an opportunity for growth. Okay, so here are some signs of perfectionist tendencies: rigid and inflexible thinking, my way or the highway sort of.
Oh boy.
Competitiveness instead of collaboration, sensitivity to feedback. She says,
I don't know anyone like that.
No. Feeling shame or guilt, a tendency to be critical of others, and anger and frustration when something goes wrong.
Oh, boy.
Obviously, the world is against me if it didn't go exactly my way.
Yeah.
So again, perfectionism is unrealistic. There's a continuous pressure to meet extremely high standards to achieve self-worth, despite negative consequences, because perfectionism, there's some consequences there.
Yeah, for sure.
So some of the consequences are low self-esteem, and also the idea that if I am perfect, then I will be enough. Like it's leading up to this ideal version rather than a realistic version of ourselves. Like have you ever said to anyone, like, and I'm actually right now to you, Donald Weigel Jr., like, oh, wow, I love it because they're a perfectionist. Oh, like I loved my grandma because she was a perfectionist.
I don't know that that's ever been a good thing. Like someone announces they're a perfectionist at work, that's like a giant red flag.
Yeah, there's going to be conflict, disappointment,
that's
like
a problem.
Anxiousness. So here's a quote that I found from an article. I can't remember the quote exactly, but I'm going to try my best. So perfectionism is a desire for control. If I can control this outcome, I'm underlining that in your heads.
Yeah.
If I can control this outcome,
the head underline,
then I can control how I feel and how others feel around and about me.
Ouch.
I'm going to read that again. If I can control this outcome, then I can control how I feel and how others feel around and about me. Ouch. It is like I need to be in control of every single thing around me, or I'm just going to hide in a bunker. And I am feeling attacked by myself right now. So, okay. So a couple of other things about perfectionism before we move ahead. And these are sort of the qualities or sort of the results that you might see around perfectionism. You abandon a task if it can't be done to exacting standards. You create endless revisions before wanting to put something out in the world. Ouch. You have difficulty initiating a task because if it's not the perfect circumstances, you're not even going to do it. You plan to the point of over detail.
Yeah.
I might do this sometimes.
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
Again, that all or nothing thinking, negative self-talk, and again, that fear of failure. I'm not going to put anything out unless it is absolutely perfect. And so much of this is unfortunately relatable, but a lot of it has to do with that mindset of that fixed mindset of perfection, all or nothing. And one of the things that we've really striven for, yes.
It's one of those new words that we were talking about earlier.
Things that we have striven. No, what is the strove?
Now you've said so many different things. I can't think of what the real word actually is. We strive for, but I don't know what the past tense of we strived, striven, strove.
Nobody knows. Ask if Mr. Webster's dictionary is listening to right now, or Ms.
Yeah.
You can let us know. But part of it is allowing for the possibility that there is progress to be made, right? Like we used to think that I have to know it all or I will do nothing. Having a growth mindset means being open to change, to like a little bit of feedback. And as Gretchen Rubin said, and I think we've done an episode on it, is failure is feedback, right? And we have the opportunity to make progress based on those like little stepping stones along the way instead of that all or nothing, it's going to be perfect or I'm going to do nothing.
Yeah. And look, we know that we want to all do quality work. We want to do things that with quality, but quality is not the same as perfection, because perfection is an illusion, and striving for perfection sets you up for failure. You constantly say to yourself, I'm not ready yet because I don't feel that I'm going to be able to do this perfectly, or I don't feel like, my life circumstances are perfect, or I don't have the perfect amount of willpower, or I don't have the perfect amount of time. And here's the thing, it's never going to be perfect. And so you have to, move forward and do something, because endless tweaking is just a manifestation of procrastination, and it's a manifestation of fear of moving forward. So you'll never reach the perfection that you're aiming for, but you can make progress. And sometimes good enough has to be good enough.
Well, and I think too, as we're sort of stepping back on this, is when you notice in other people, they put some effort into this. They are really passionate. You can tell that this is part of their value. They recognize that, they're putting out information or content that is meaningful in the world. We admire people who put out quality work, who put effort into things, who show up as they are and put in the energy that they can. It's not like and we've all experienced this, is like, if someone is like, I'm a perfectionist and this isn't good enough, blah, blah, like, that's kind of cringy when someone,
yeah,
no, when someone is just like, okay, here it is. It's total garbage. I know it's not great. Like, that's not super wonderful. If someone shows up like, hey, I put in a lot of energy, I put in a lot of effort, like, here it is, that feels a lot better than focusing on that, like, absolute exacting standard.
Yeah, this is like a weird throwback to my childhood, but it has stuck with me to this day. I went to a comic book convention when I was pretty young, and there was a fairly
45.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 45. I was probably like 14 or 15. There was a comic book artist there named Paris Cullins, who was a guy came up to him and wanted to show him his stuff. And the guy was like, well, I'm not very happy with this particular section, but, here, and I'm not super happy with this. And Paris Cullins, this established comic book artist, said, if you're not happy with this, how do you expect anybody else to be happy with this? And like, even if you're not happy, you have to act like you're happy with it. If you're showing somebody else your work and want them to critique it, you need to make them feel like you stand behind what you're doing.
That's really, I like that.
I know.
Look, comic books are meaningful and good.
It stuck with me for a very long time because I'm an old man now. All right. So Marie Forleo in her book that we talked about, Everything is Figure Outable, has a section in which she talks about the thoughts behind perfection versus progress. And on the one side, there is the thoughts of the perfectionist, and the other side are the thoughts of the person who is willing to make progress, or who is focused on making progress. And we are going to reintroduce We Only Look Thin players today. I don't know what kind of accent I'm going to do or whatever, but I'm going to play...
Hopefully none.
I'm going to play the role. Well, I have an accent in my natural voice. I'm going to play the role of the perfectionist, and Catherine is going to play the role of the person who is focused on making progress and not perfection.
Right. So again, this is about that fixed mindset, that negative kind of there's no room for growth, versus the things are figure outable, things are malleable kind of person. So I'm just going to use this voice when I use the voice that I use.
Yeah. All right. I'll try.
So compare.
Hey, governor, I'm a perfectionist.
Please don't. We were watching Survivor the other day, and Jeff Probst used a British accent, and it was not.
No,
it was not okay.
It was super cringe, everyone.
But okay, again, if you are a perfectionist, you might be like, well, what else am I supposed to say? I'm going to give you the other option. So notice the different tone that is used.
And notice the different accent.
Ding.
Because mine will be a fake British accent.
Okay, so give us number one.
Okay, so perfection. I might think to myself, I only have one shot at this. If I lose or fail or get rejected, it means I suck and I should quit.
Wow. I think, wasn't that in the Hamilton musical? I'm not going to throw away my shot.
That's right.
I've only got one. Okay. So the progressive says, I'll take as many shots as I can. I'll learn from every attempt and I'll get stronger and better. Like, I know that's annoying, but it's true. Like the progress person is annoying also, but in a better way.
It's all annoying, but some of it's less annoying than others. It's
annoying. Well, like when you feel like, oh no, I can't get anything done. Like when someone's like, come on, yeah, you can. It's like, okay, I've got to put in more effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The next one I sort of brought up earlier. It's either all or nothing. If I can't get everything I want, what's the point?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'll start small and simple now, then iterate and evolve over time.
Oh, you're going to iterate.
See? I'm going to iterate.
Oh, you're doing some serious iteration.
That is an actual word. It's not.
I
it's
know.
Not a fake one.
I know.
It sounds fake.
I know. No, it's one of those dictionary words I read about.
Everything is iterationable.
Oh boy.
I'm going to one up Marie
Catherine
Forleo.
and I are an iteration. Asian. Okay, never mind. So the next one is failure is unacceptable. I am a failure, always have been, and always will be.
Oh boy. Failure is inevitable. My attempt may fail, but I am not a failure. And that is a big distinction. I'm just going to it's not I am a failure. It is, yeah, that didn't work. But guess what? There's other options.
The next one is really hard. People say to themselves, and I said this to myself for many, many years, I always fail at everything. This will crush me. If I fail, I'm done. I can't go on.
Oh, ouch. I want to give you a hug.
Thanks. You could give me a hug later.
Okay. Failure isn't permanent or personal. Failure is an event, not a characteristic. Again, failure is an event. It is not a characteristic. I might go cry in a pillow for a little while. Yeah. That one is really huge.
We could give each other hugs. Okay, the perfectionist might say, ugh, why is she so much more successful than me? I'm smarter and more genuine. Or the perfectionist might say, I'll never be that good.
Ouch. Yeah, when you notice yourself seeing people that make you feel like that, like one, watch out for people who bring out that in you, but also maybe follow people who are kind of maybe just a little step ahead of you instead of, a world-class gymnast or whatever. So, yeah. Okay, so progress would be, she's so dang inspiring. I really connect with her vibe. If she can do it, so can I.
Dang inspiring she is.
I changed the language.
I know.
This is a family show.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we don't curse on this podcast.
Yep.
Okay, the next one. And this is so huge in weight loss and fitness. Like, everybody wants to be in a hurry. Everybody wants it to be fast. This has to happen immediately. ASAP. Give me a shortcut, a hack, a formula.
A recipe.
That one weird trick. I need this to be easy. I can't handle challenges. If things are challenging, I will fail.
Well, and this has to do with a preference for certainty, preference for ease. It is not a necessity. And when we let go of that, it's just a preference. Yeah, I would prefer it to be easy, but it doesn't actually have to be. So the progressive person says, I'm in this for the long haul. All great things take time. I'm ready to put in the work. I'm ready to work hard. And I'm excited for the challenge. Like, what is the story of like everything? I was a perfectionist and everything turned out perfect forever and ever and ever. Like, that doesn't exist.
Yeah. And the thing that I see all the time, and I see this a lot on the subreddits that I go dark to web. That are about weight
you know
loss
what?
And
Maybe
fitness.
I think it's the dark web because you have your phone set to dark mode. Like with the no, but you really do. Yeah. You've got like the dark background with the white lettering.
I like dark mode,
and I just think that that's what the dark web looks like.
I think the mode of your phone should reflect your soul.
Your soul, okay.
And mine is dark.
Okay.
So I see this all the time on subreddits where people are like, I've lost 10 pounds, but it's not coming off fast enough.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
lost 5 pounds, but it's not. I need it to be faster. Like, what can I do? And the thing that I like to say is, what is the alternative? You've lost 5 pounds, you've lost 10 pounds. That is amazing. That is wonderful. And if you keep up that pace and you keep going, imagine what you'll do in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, as opposed to doing nothing or doing what you were doing before, and how much weight you would probably gain over that time period instead.
Well, and guess what? What do you think you're going to do when you get what you get?
Yeah.
Like, then what?
Yeah.
Like, guess what? You keep on getting to do the same things because that's what maintenance is. So,
exactly.
Boo-hoo to you.
Okay, so the perfectionist will think to themselves or say out loud, I feel discouraged and unsure. This means I'm a loser.
That felt very after school special.
Yeah, sorry. I did it in that voice. Being uncertain and insecure is a sign that I'm out of my league and I should quit.
Ooh. Ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
This is okay. I feel like I'm attacking myself. Okay. The progressive person says, I feel discouraged and unsure. That means I'm making progress. Being uncertain and insecure is a sign that I'm in new territory. I'm out of the box a little bit. Okay. This is new and different.
Yeah, and being uncomfortable and unsure can be a really good thing, especially if you actually like push past it and practice. I can't handle another setback. I am too weak. This is too hard.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what?
And I've said that to myself a lot when it comes to weight loss and fitness.
But it's also really hard when you stay stuck in what you used to do. Like there's a reason that you want to change because you want to improve your circumstances, and that takes being discomfortable. There. I said it again. I think I've already used that in an episode.
Yeah, you have.
Okay. And now this is me. This is the growth mindset progress person. Setbacks and obstacles? Bring it. Sorry.
You said you weren't doing voices.
Why? No, but that's my yoked.
If we could do voices, I'm going to do lots of them.
Okay. We only have 3 more left, so you can only do 2 more, actually.
All right.
Okay. Setbacks and obstacles? Bring it. Doing hard things makes me stronger. And really, that's why the muscles hurt a little bit when you use them, because that's what it takes. It takes a little bit of pushing past that discomfort, pushing into new territory. So it's a good thing.
The next one that the perfectionist thinks, nothing is ever good enough. I can't show this to anyone until it's perfect.
That's annoying.
Yeah.
I was actually just like, wow, that's really annoying. Okay. Done is better than perfect. Real world feedback helps me learn and improve. That is so huge. Being open. And again, not everybody is the right critic or the right teacher. So finding someone who inspires you to like be vulnerable without judgment and is a good coach, that's a good thing.
And then the last one is you approach things from an orientation of fear. You will say to yourself, what will everyone think of me? What will everyone say about me? Oh. You know, if I try and improve my health and fitness, what is my grandmother going to say, who is always trying to get me to eat more? What are my friends going to say who want to encourage me to go out and, have indulgent meals and drinks with them? What is everyone going to say if I try and take control of my health and do something for me? And that is the fear-oriented way to approach it.
Oh boy, I just went into a I was in the Wayback Machine there. Okay, so the last one, the progressive person is curiosity oriented. What can I learn from this? How can I improve? And I think and that is the last one. I know because this is an audio podcast. I mean, I'm sure maybe Donald could do some sort of Sousa band I don't know what was that called.
Yeah.
Is it John Philip Sousa?
Yeah, marching band.
Yeah, like a big da 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 and then you can go off into the sunset. But really being open to change gives us the opportunity to and this is actually from the Marie Forleo book. She talks about minding the gap between your expectation and your ability, and being comfortable with starting where you are with your current level of expertise, the time that you have to give to something really does matter. And I think we aspire to be better versions of ourselves, but we have the opportunity to step up, literally step by step in the process, to become better over time. If you were like, okay, I want to be a concert pianist, and so I am going to disappear from your life for 5 years until I come back as this perfect pianist. Hey, guy, that's a lot of
Leopold from Bugs Bunny.
Oh my God.
Leopold.
But when we think we have to hide ourselves, hide our imperfections until we're the perfect version, okay, baby, you go away and then just be able to walk and talk. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. You go off to finishing school until you're perfect. And then you come back, this fully formed human.
That's right.
Like, what are we going to have to talk about? Like, I'm not going to talk about the progress I had to make during the process. Like, I'm not going to talk about setbacks. I'm just going to show up perfect. I don't want to hang out with people who are just like, well, I'm just perfect at it and good all the time. Like, I got nothing to teach you because I don't know. Like, just show up as you are. And after, I don't know, how many years have we done this podcast? 6, 7
We're
years?
coming up on 7. It's almost the 7-year anniversary.
I'm not sure. That's a long time to have a relationship with a growth mindset. But this is all a process. Donald and I have setbacks. We have like times when we feel uncertain, but we keep showing up week after week, month after month, podcast after podcast, knowing that real life gets in the way of our expectations.
Sure does.
And something that I heard on a podcast a bunch of years ago was talking about like letting go of that perfectionism. Not everything in our life requires A+ work.
Yeah.
Right? It is good enough to put out to go for a 5-minute walk. It is good enough to buy bagged salad. It is good enough to like just give a bit of energy every day to a long-term pursuit. And if we allow ourselves that space between where we are right now and our aspiration for ourselves, that's where the progress comes in. So watch the language that you use. Watch the judgment that you give yourself. When you notice yourself berating yourself, talking about yourself in the third person, which I had a coworker who used to do that, who would just be like, I'm just going to say his name. Be like, come on, David, figure it out. Like when you notice you're...
I apologize to any listeners out there who talk about themselves in the third person, but it's the worst.
Donald has met David, and David doesn't actually talk like a brochacho, but like watch that tendency to berate yourself, because 1, nobody else likes hearing it, and 2, it doesn't allow for that kindness, which is where growth and the possibility for change comes from. So watch what you say to yourself, watch your judgment of others, and show a little bit more kindness. What would a kinder choice be right now? Maybe that's kind of where we end it. When you notice that tendency toward perfectionism, step it back and ask, what can I do right now instead? Because that is where the change comes in. Being open to growth means being open to imperfection. And if Donald and I can be imperfect, don't say it, anybody, don't say it, then we know that you can too.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even joking. Like, we put ourselves out there, how many, 350 whatever episodes?
Yeah.
We're putting it out, everybody.
I think this is 355 or 6. I can't remember right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's...
I say... good job to us.
Good job to us.
And
indeed.
good job to you for listening.
Yes, indeed.
I stole your line.
You did. I was about to say the same thing. Thank you so much for listening. Good job to you. Remember that one of the most important steps in progress is, in fact, listening to this podcast. And you can do that. You can find episodes of the show, the most recent 300, wherever you found this one. You can also find all of our episodes back to episode 1 on YouTube or at our website anytime at weonlylookthin.com.
Just think, what if we just put out one perfect episode? And then it was done. And God. Refer to the other podcast because it was perfect.
If we waited till we could put out a perfect episode, there wouldn't be a single episode of this show. Maybe Walt After Dark. That might have been perfect. That
was pretty perfect. Yeah, if you haven't,
that's like the favorite opening
that is my opus. It happened a long time ago.
I don't know that anyone else enjoyed it, but I sure did.
Oh my gosh. I love that episode. Well done, us. Okay, so if you're at our website, which you might be, you can click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about Wolt Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. It is not a place to be perfect. It is a place to show up just as you are. It is a place for Zoom meetings that are perfect, No, they're imperfect. No, but it's a place to really work on yourself while you're working on becoming the kind of person that you want to be. So we have weekly Zoom meetings. We've got daily check-in opportunities and just really candid conversations about the successes and setbacks of our weight loss journey ventures. We have 2 subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WoltPlace is right for you.
Yeah, so please go and check it out. And also, you can check us out on social media. We are at We Only Look Thin on Facebook and Instagram. Or you can type out an email to us. We have the technology. You can do that to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. If you would like to give us a compliment, if you have an episode suggestion, if you would like to give us some ways in which you have gotten over your perfectionism in order to make progress, we would like to hear from you. And once again, you can do all of that by emailing us at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra seconds, head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a rating and a review. Those 5 stars mean a lot to us. And those compliments really make us know that what we're doing after all of these years is making a difference in your life. And it also helps the algorithms promote our podcast when other people are looking for Cool Beans perfect podcasts like ours.
Absolutely.
And 100% funny and accurate at all time podcasts.
That's right. That's right. All of those hashtags, if you search any of them, it's just our podcast that comes up.
I want a perfect podcast every single time.
But it also has to be Cool Beans.
Cool Beans and funny.
And funny.
100% funny to all people at all times.
Then if you put that search string in Google, we come up. Also, if you could just tell somebody about the show, word of mouth really does help the show grow. If you know somebody who might get something out of it or you think might enjoy it, and if you could tell them about us, it would really help. Or if you are on the dark web, whether your phone is in light mode or dark mode, if you're on Reddit, if you are on a Discord server, or if you're in a Facebook group that is health, fitness, weight loss related, and you give us a shout out, the TikToks. Do TikToks have groups? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm too old for that.
Speaking of me being an old man, I'm just stubbornly refusing to download TikTok
I don't need
on my
more
phone.
distractions.
I know,
I'm distracted
it's true.
enough.
But if you could do one of those things, give us a shout out. It really does help the show grow.
Yep.
So if you've been focusing on all of the cringe things we've said, please instead remember that this episode slaps. And also remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.